Hello, gang. We're working on the 2100 today, the Husqvarna 2100. I I built this saw, and this is going to be my dedicated, like, what is it, 6 cube race saw. Um, right now it's just set up as a gas racer, and it runs all right. I definitely think I need to be running it with a 8-pin sprocket instead of the 9-pin sprocket that I had on there. Heck, might even need the 7-pin sprocket. I'm not sure, but it was having some issues towards the bottom of the cut. It seemed to be going lean constantly. So it'd start off strong and then, right? And so I suspected it had an air leak. I also suspected that it had low compression because I used this old piston, right? We already got some score marks on there, right? Who knows what caused that? Maybe just carbon buildup. Some score marks on the intake as well. So it's not ideal, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to switch that out. And so what I want to do is I want to show you what I'm switching it out with, as well as what I found. What I found, first off, let me show you that. I had used Hylamar, right? And this is the second time that Hylamar has failed me. So I gotta say, at least for right now, I'm going to give up on the Hylamar. So I was cleaning off everything, and as I was cleaning it off, I'm running red armor, and I don't know how much you can see, but this crankshaft and everything was coated with red armor. The piston was absolutely coated. Like, I've already wiped it clean. You can see all of the red armor, how it was just coated on there like crazy. But what I found was everything was good. I was scraping off the Hylamar with my razor blade, and then I got right here and I scraped it, and I'm like, oh. And before I even realized what was happening, I had scraped it off. But right there at that seam, right there, the Hylamar was heavily blackened, right? Oily looking. And so that tells me that it's very possible and likely that the Hylamar blew out and was allowing a leak right there at that seam. So I think it did have an air leak, and I think I did find it. And I hope that it will be fixed with Durco. So let me show you. I hate using this stuff because it is really messy. However, that's the best I've found. It's really good. It really seals. So I will be using that to reassemble this saw. Now, on to the other portions. Things that I'm messing with. All right, so if you notice this piston, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this right here is the top dog best factory piston that Husqvarna offered for these saws. Now, I do know a little bit vaguely about the A, B, and C pistons. Those were different sizes. What I'm talking about is the design. These windows go all the way from top to bottom. All right, well, they're big. You get my point. Whereas this, much smaller windows. Much smaller windows. So is this going to cause a problem with my performance? I don't know. Common sense tells me yes, it will cause a problem. So what I'm going to do to alleviate this problem, or at least minimize it, is this right here, this side where it seals up, I'm going to literally cut a divot in there so that if that is causing a problem, fuel can still flow up through there. We don't have to wait on the windows. We'll see how this works. Now, in the future, I might EJ, I believe is his name, McNamara. He builds a lot of this stuff, and he orders pistons from Wiseco and everything. I might be in Michigan, I hope to meet him and talk with him a little bit about what way I should go with this to take it to the next level and everything. This is definitely something that will kind of always be a work in progress until I take it all the way up to the crazy limits. For right now, this is just basic stuff that I can do and am comfortable with in this moment. So no two-piece head or anything like that. But from him, I hope to get the answers of what piston I should be using and maybe possibly purchase a piston. But I might not even waste my time on it because he might have an 090 cylinder that I can buy from him. And we just go straight into the big stroked 140 plus cc's on this guy. I don't know where this is going to go. However, here's how I'm going to fix my current problem. I'm literally going to cut out about that much of that, I don't know what you call it, skirt or whatever. It's not really a skirt. Also, there's a second problem with this piston. This is a Duke's piston, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. The second problem, the top is spot on. I don't know what shows up, but you know, the top is spot on. We're matched up there, so no problem. However, I don't know if you can tell it, but the bottom, this skirt, is significantly longer than this one over here. So if I was to just take this piston and put it in without addressing this long skirt, what that's going to cause is my intake timing is going to change. Right now I've got my intake timing at 79 degrees. And if I was to just install this, my intake timing would probably drop to 77 degrees, you know. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. So what I'm going to do, I've marked with an arrow to grind on this side because this side has the arrow and is for the exhaust. So we don't care about that side. But this one right here, we're going to shave off. It's actually 37 thousandths of an inch over. And this, in case you guys are wondering, is my Craftsman, old school, vintage Craftsman caliper, dial caliper. Really like it, really happy. I got this one, and I've got, might as well go ahead and show you. These are, I've recently bought 3 tools, and I got a Craftsman. This one is metric, so I can measure millimeters easily. I don't have to do any weird conversions. And I have a depth gauge. This right here helps me to, I take it and I put it on the case like so, and I run it down. I run it down like that to where it bottoms out on the cases so that I can tell how deep my skirt can be. All right. So that's exactly what I use this for, and maybe I'll use it for other stuff. But anyways, it's fantastic. Before I was just simply using this part of the dial caliper, and it works. It's fine, but it's, you know, if you tilt it like this, you get a different reading and stuff. That one right there is more precise and easy. I can lock it down, and then I can just take it and really quick and easy, like just put it on the cylinder and see if my skirt is short enough. So really nice, right? So, and by going with the old school Craftsman stuff, I was going to buy Start, but I was just like, you know what? Is the Start going to be that much better than the vintage Craftsman? And I was like, no, not for my purposes. This is going to be just fine. And it is. It's fantastic. It's very high quality stuff. I think these were actually made by, oh God, what's the name? I forgot the name. But these aren't made by Craftsman. You know, Craftsman doesn't make anything. they pay other people to build their shit and sell it with their name on there. So I can't remember. If you guys know who made their precision equipment, please put it in the comments. But anyways, their stuff was really good. And one of my European viewers was like, American hand tools can't compare to Swedish hand tools. You're right. You are absolutely right for today. But back in the 80s, they could totally compare, even into the 90s. But this right here, my guess would be, sometime in the 80s or 90s, whenever this was made. And it's an actual high quality unit. So anyways, I'm going to get to grinding on this piston, and I will come back to you and let you know what I come up with, and then we'll put it together, and in a later video you'll see it run. Hopefully I'll be able to seal up everything. I'm also going to, you see I've got Hylamar around here. I'm also going to disassemble this, scrape off all the Hylamar, and use Durco. Yeah, because I don't want to have any air leaks. Even though I do have the suspicion that possibly my crankcase itself is leaking, as in, the case seals. But anyways, whatever. For the amount of running that I'm going to do with it, as long as it doesn't develop an air leak within the 15 seconds that I'm running it, I'm fine. Okay, so here we go. Here's the work to the piston. Now, right off the bat here, you notice the little holes for my gas ports. If you want to know more about gas porting a piston, you can become a paid member of the channel. Minimum cost is $2.99 a month. So I've got a video on there explaining gas porting a piston. Anyways, I like it. It seems to work really well for me, and so I do it on the saws that I want to be a little bit hotter. Anyways, I ended up divoting that out like that, so now fuel will be able to get in there. Not a whole lot. It's not unrestricted flow for sure, but it's enough to where if these didn't feed enough, I think that this will help out. I didn't want to remove them completely and just slab side this, because I actually like how this thing has less volume. That it is, it actually has more volume than this, right? Because if you have less volume, your crankcase is tighter and you get higher velocity. But I am only going to run this with one ring, just the top ring, and I'll put it back together and we will see how she works out in future videos.